Good luck.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Game Addicts podcast, the show where we talk about the modern and retro video games that we play and collect. I'm your host Brando, and joining me today is, of course, as most always,
Other than once in a blue moon.
so far, this podcast player too, Mike.
Basically anytime you go out of
Anytime
town.
that I leave.
Anytime you
And
leave.
then Nate filled in for you that one time, and then,
Right.
you know, like the hope was that like if you got really busy with work, that since Rob was supposed to be coming to day shift,
Right.
that he would be able to fill in, but that hasn't happened at all.
It hasn't been posted yet. I've been paying attention to it.
Yeah, no, it hasn't. And then thankfully we've been able to keep our schedule where we can do it.
I think that, and I'm just going to say this now, it's not going to change. My schedule's not going to change.
Mostly.
Period. Other than shutdowns, which I would like to pre-record.
What about
one for
when
shutdown.
what about when it launches and then you've got to be there for second shift a little bit, probably until like 8.
Yeah, but that'll be until 8, and we can work around that.
Yeah, we can work around it. Well, because we recorded the episode almost an entirely week in advance. We could actually, and I thought about this today.
Actually, you know what? We'll be all right because those units are going to be running not at 8, but at I will prep those at 4:30. So they will literally be running through at 4:30. So latest will be 7 o'clock latest. So we'll be all right.
We'll see, and even then, it's like if we do it on like a Friday,
And it's only 2 weeks. For those times you're talking about, it's only 2 weeks.
we should be fine.
We'll figure
then.
it out.
Yeah, and see, as I said, we now record the episode a full week out, which I was thinking we could actually probably just record it like a day before, but
Right.
then that is a lot of work on my end.
Yes.
That means I got to get out of here, go home, and get them uploaded. Like, the audio is no big deal. I can have the audio done in 10 minutes.
I'm working on to where you don't have to bear that load since you bear all the load
Well-
as if promoting.
Well, okay, the only issue with doing the editing is the video portion, since we can go almost 2 hours sometimes.
Yeah.
That takes a while because in order to edit the video, it has to render within the program itself. So I drag and drop it, and that's fine because my wife Caitlin can just use the computer. But when I'm exporting, she cannot. She cannot do anything else because if she exits and switches over to her profile on the computer,
Right.
it messes it up.
Right, but I think we'll be all right.
But
We'll
see. And that's what I was saying is that the only time that we're ever going to probably change it is probably around E3.
right.
We'll probably change, and
I am actually planning on taking days off for E3.
really, I wish I could. I actually ended up taking my days off this week.
Right.
So I had 3 days off, and I got to play a lot of Persona.
Yes.
That is amazing. So far, that is my favorite game of the year.
Wow.
I'm absolutely loving it. This game is the epitome JRPG on the PS4, and even of this generation so far. Persona 5 does everything right. And you know who else loves this game?
Matt
Matt who?
Klaus.
He doesn't. He hasn't played 5 yet. He's playing 4.
Oh, he's playing 4. Okay.
Nick Torres.
Huh.
He has it.
He's a JRPG negative man.
Yes.
He's I don't care. It's JRPG.
He's not a big fan of JRPGs. I think the only one that he ever really played and got into was Pokemon.
Yeah.
Because I think he played Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, and then Gold and Silver. And I think that he also dabbled in some of the newer ones a little bit. And he enjoyed them.
He played 15 a little bit.
And that he played 15, but as we said before, 15 is not necessarily...
Japan trying to go American.
In a way, yeah. But, okay, it's like he doesn't really like anime. He doesn't like Japanese tropes, and he doesn't like JRPGs. And Persona 5 is all 3 of these.
Yeah, that's like the staple.
And so that's what I had a little conversation with him. I posted a picture of what I was doing on Sunday. For Mother's Day, I made my wife ribs. I smoked ribs on the grill. And because I was back there like tending to it, I got to just play Persona when I was back there. And
there you go.
Posted a picture of the ribs and of me playing Persona. And then he commented, "Sounds like a great day." And then I asked him how, because he said he showed me a picture when he sent he sent me a picture when he got it.
Right.
And then I said, "You have to let me know how you like it." So I said, "Hey, how do you like it?" He goes, "I love it. I just don't have enough time to play it." I'm like, "Really? That's awesome." He's even contemplating getting a Vita just to play Persona 4. because he likes 5 that much, and I had to tell him that 4, it is a 10-year-old game.
Yeah.
The Vita version is probably the definitive version to get, because you get like a full epilogue, and you get the graphics haven't really changed, honestly, not much, but Persona 4 is still an amazing game. And if we ever did another top 10, like revised, that might creep up into my top 10.
Wow.
I liked Persona 4 that much. But that's the only thing that I've been playing, man, and that's really the only thing that I want to play. Persona 5 has the same issue, and you can view this as a plus or a negative, because to me it definitely harkens back to old school JRPGs,
right?
Where you can't just save whenever you want all the time.
I know the feeling.
Yeah. Okay. So with Persona 5, you kind of can. What I mean is that when you're wandering around and doing stuff like outside of the dungeon,
right?
You can. So
but you were saying that, I know that Persona 4, you've told me before that when you start the dungeon, you're in the dungeon. Mm-hmm. And this one you said is every once in a while you have a safe room.
You can get a safe room, and from the safe room, whenever you get to the safe room, you can always travel. You can fast travel back to it if you decide to leave.
Right.
So you can chip away at the dungeon, because the same way with the other ones, you have a time limit for when you have to start and end the dungeon.
Right.
And so
it's still the rain, right?
No,
TV World?
Nope. This isn't TV World at all. This is completely different. This is now you are traveling into the metaverse, and you are finding palaces that are created out of the wicked and twisted desires of the hearts of individuals. And the shadows that you're fighting are twisted versions of these people.
Right.
And so now what they're trying to do is that they're trying to change the hearts of these people in the real world. Because in the real world, these people are really sick and twisted people.
Right.
Or they have something about them that is negative and sick and twisted. So, for example, this isn't going to spoil it too much. The first guy, he thinks the school is his castle. Like he
rules the school.
He is the PE teacher / volleyball coach. He is a volleyball Olympic medalist.
Oh.
So he is like the school's superstar,
shining star,
celebrity.
Yeah.
He is a local celebrity, and he pretty much gets away with anything he wants. And so he kind of bosses the kids around. Especially the volleyball team, and he's rough on them. And not only that, he sexually harasses the girls and abuses the volleyball team, like beats them.
Oh, wow.
And he gets away with it. And so he views anybody that stands up to him, negatively. And so you and your friend kind of stand up to him, and he's going to expel you at the next teacher meeting.
Right.
And so you have until the next teacher meeting to go into the metaverse, go into the school, which is a castle. And he's the king, wearing a cloak, a crown, and underwear. Don't matter. Japanese.
Yeah.
And also, a girl eventually joins you. She's a girl in the school who he has a thing for. And there's a shadow version, or not a real version, but a version that he created of her in his mind.
Right. Wearing
nothing but a swimsuit. She's hanging all over him. And the goal is to defeat him. The goal is to secure a route to the treasure, send a calling card. And what the calling card is that you basically let them know that they're doing something wrong, and that you're going to change it. So what that will do is that'll make the treasure in the spirit or in the metaverse materialize, and you go steal it. Well, also you basically get them to, for him, you get him to admit his sins.
Right.
In the metaverse, and it basically destroys the shadow version of him, and the whole palace crumbles and then is destroyed.
Right.
Then, since I did it within a week of the time limit, I had to wait until then to figure out what's going to happen. He goes in front of the entire school, admits his wrongdoings, breaks down, and you've changed his heart. Now he has to deal with the blowback, the charges. He's been pretty much fired from the school. They're looking at actually kicking him out of the volleyball association.
Wow.
And then now I'm working on the next guy, and he's an artist who basically teaches people. He has pupils that are his underlings, and he plagiarizes their work and just posts it as his own.
Yeah.
And then it is different. There's a place called Mementos, which is basically not everybody can Mementos. This place, not everybody can have their own palace. Like only the biggest and most twisted people have that.
Right.
And then the other people also have regular people also have dark desires. And Mementos is basically the subway system in Japan, where it's everybody's palace. It's all shared. So you travel down in there, and you'll get requests on the Phantom Thieves fan site. That like a fan of yours has created for a anonymous message board for people to post their grievances and say who's like there was a school bully I took down and a dude who was a stalker, and then so it's like the same thing but smaller. You just got to travel through the metaverse and find them, and then you'll also fight down there and get treasure. Same as a palace, but
not the grand scale.
It's so big and to roam around in that your cat guy Morgana turns into a truck. And then you drive him around. It's weird. It's weird, but it's funny because then to like ambush people, like you're driving along and you like hit X and just rams right into him, and all of a sudden you like goes into a battle mode and you guys are fighting. But I'm digging it, man. It's a lot of what I know from Persona 4.
Right.
I watched a video yesterday about the history of Persona, and they brought some stuff back from like the earlier games. Into this, where you're actually fighting more demons now instead of just shadows.
Right.
And you get to use a gun now. You have your standard melee weapon and a gun on each character, which the gun, some enemies are weak to the gun, and other times it's just there.
Right.
But it's pretty neat, and I'm really digging it. And
well, I bet you find guns that have elemental abilities.
Maybe, probably. I mean,
I would assume so.
Because they have they have weapons that can inflict burn and stuff like that.
Which that would be cool to have, have one that would be toxic or
poison or something like that. Yeah.
Then you could poison and then hit with a burn and have 2 stacks.
The only thing that is about that is that so far I'm still pretty early in the game. I'm almost done with May. You start in April.
Right.
I still haven't found any really good way to refill my SP, which is your MP.
Right.
Your spirit power, I guess, your spirit points. So that's what's cool about doing the palaces with the safe rooms, because if you go so far and you're completely devoid of SP, get out for a night, go and rest, come back in. And you can go and you can fast travel right to this point that you were at and go from there.
They don't have any way of managing it outside of that?
They do. It's items, and it's more so stuff that you're probably going to get later on.
Right.
So, I mean,
I'm sure there'll be equipment that you wear that'll increase
you leveling up. Apparently, making coffee. You have to make coffee. You have to learn how to make coffee from the guy who's looking after you. Which I've been spending time with him, but my rank with him isn't leveling up fast enough. Not for me anyway. But that's what I liked about the dungeons is that you can go in there, you can do it all at once, right?
Right.
Or you can kind of take back and chip away at it and see, because when you're roaming through the dungeon, you can't save anywhere but the safe rooms.
Right.
And so like when I'm playing with me, that's what was cool about the Vita, playing 4 on the Vita, because if I just got tired of playing, stand by.
Yeah.
Make sure the battery doesn't die.
I don't know anybody that's ever done that.
Oh, Mr. PSP here.
What are you talking about?
What was it? Was that FF7?
No, it was 9.
Was it 9?
I lost my stuff on 7 also, but 9 was when I was... See, on 7, I always save right when I get my gold chocobo, and then I go get Knights of Around, and then I have to have all of the summons, and I put all the the deal, double, triple XP weapons. You do that, master them faster, so that when you go to Sephiroth, you can literally just I just smoke him. Yeah. One hit, it's over. But anywho, yeah. So I had that, and I had never actually saved it. It's always been on standby.
Yeah.
And then I lost that. That was my first loss. And then I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm going to go to 9. Because I already beat... I beat Sephiroth. Because you're like, if you go a little bit further down, that's where you find the Quadra... magic. And I hadn't found it yet. And I went through every room. And I was like, man, I'm literally... I know that it's here. I went too far. had to finish the game, hadn't saved. And I was like, I'm done. I had like 20 some hours of grinding.
Of extra.
Yeah. And then, so I started 9. And I was like, all right, I love 9. Playing through it. I hadn't saved in a long, like 25 hours of story time. And it died.
Well,
and I lost it all.
You would bring it to work and play it in the car, right?
Yeah, because I would usually take about, I had like a 30, 40-minute drive to work. And some days I wouldn't like to leave early because, man, that year that I lived in that apartment, 65 was down a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. So I had to take alternative routes. So I would leave about 20 minutes early, and I'd sit in the car, play 20, 30 minutes of grinding, move on. Well, I hadn't brought it in the house in a long time, and I died.
Whoops.
I let it die. Anywho.
So usually when we start the show, we kind of reminisce and talk, and then we go into our pickups if we have any. Well, we have pickups. You got some, and I've got this over here, not this. But since we don't have like a real big topic. I mean, we have 2 topics.
Right, we have some
discussion,
news, but not a lot.
Well, like usually we do news after that, and then we do our main topic. Well, today we each have a different topic, and they're going to spawn from stuff that we bought.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about news first, and I'm just going to kind of go through this. First off, I want to send out Game Addicts condolences from us. The voice of Solidus Snake is dead. From Metal Gear Solid 2. His name is John Saigon. He died at 63. I guess he had cancer. He has played in a lot of stuff. I also remember him as Canderous from Knights of the Old Republic in 1 and 2. Actually, he was Canderous in 1. Then he was Mandalore, the head of the Mandalorians, but Canderous was a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So you don't ever find out that he is Canderous, but he's Canderous.
Right.
The stuff that he says as Mandalore, it talks about fighting next to Revan. It's Canderous. But he was also in he started with Michael Chiklis in something? He was Lieutenant Polly Pentagelli in ABC series The Commish. I had no idea about that, but I was trying to see what else he was in. Apparently he was in WALL-E, Cars, Toy Story 3, Inside Out. Some Disney stuff. He was in Broken Age, Grandia 2, Spec Ops: The Line. Spec Ops: The Line is like an underrated third-person shooter. Did you ever play it?
I don't think I did.
It's for the PS3 360, and honestly, if you played Gears of War, you've kind of played this, but it's more of a kind of a military, just a straight up, you're over in the Middle East type thing. It's a good game. I wouldn't say that it's a knock out of the park game, but like I got it for free on PS Plus. I'm like, yeah. And then if I ever find it for pretty cheap, I'll probably pick it up. Just
right.
Because I did enjoy playing through it. So yeah, condolences out to John Saigon, his family, and everything. That sucks, man. I mean, he definitely has a part of my childhood growing up. Right. Hearing his voice, and what's funny, is that. Like he plays Solid Snake and he plays Canderous. Those are 2 big games that that I know him from. He just uses the same voice. He's just the same. He has one of those voices that like if you hear it, you've heard it in a bunch of places.
Right.
Going forward, Netflix is producing a Witcher TV series.
Yes, I did see that.
And apparently, the developers, CD Projekt Red, not involved in this whatsoever. So The Witcher is a video game series based on novels.
Right.
And so the guy who wrote the novels, he's gonna be a creative like consultant. I can't even say his name. I'm not even gonna try.
What? Wait. Wow, what a name.
Yeah.
Spokowski?
If you like The Witcher and you like it enough to know his name, then you know who it is. I'm not even gonna bother saying it.
I'm actually excited for this. This would be really good.
I'm pretty excited too.
Especially if we follow like the trend that they've been having. I haven't watched the Luke Cage or any of those.
I haven't. Okay, I've watched the 2 Daredevil seasons.
I love them.
And I meant to watch Jessica Jones, never got around to it.
I did watch Jessica Jones. It was really good.
Was it?
It was really good.
And I didn't watch Luke Cage and haven't watched Iron Fist. The Defenders is coming out this year, so I feel like I need to watch them because I do want to watch the Defenders.
And also was it Legends of Tomorrow on there? I think that's somebody else.
That Legends of Tomorrow, that's on CW.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah,
that's the WB Warner Brothers. It's like DC Comics.
It's good though. Like everything I've seen so far has been really good. If they follow the trend of like Daredevil style, like the fights, like he has fights.
As long as they can like put enough money into it, where to where it's gonna have the right look and the amount of attention that it needs. I also just saw today that Netflix is making a prequel to the Dark Crystal. You remember that movie? Jim Henson puppets.
Yeah.
The Dark Crystal. And that's also what's his name? Dude, come on, he just David Bowie played like
David Bowie, yeah.
Yeah, but they're doing a prequel to it. So, South Park: The Fractured But Whole finally gets a new release date.
When is it?
October 17th for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So, pretty much, Ubisoft, they have announced that they are going to be putting out there's the South Park: Fractured But Whole. They're putting out The Crew 2. They're going to be doing Ubisoft's going to have an Assassin's Creed game coming out. We don't know if that is going to be this fall for sure. The rumors are saying yes.
Right.
And I want to say they also do Far Cry, don't they?
Yes.
So they're going to have Far Cry, South Park, Assassin's Creed, the Crew 2. So they're going to be having some games. Yep, Ubisoft.
Yes, they do.
Now, the Switch was the best-selling console in the U.S. in April.
Yeah.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe sold 550,000 copies in its first 2 days, which is crazy because that's a re-release.
Yeah, it's a re-release. That is not a first drop. That's amazing for a re-release. On 2 days. On a 2 day.
In its first 2 days. So like the game has already sold a couple million copies, the original copy.
What did we say it was? It was at least one in every like 6 or something consoles owns.
I can't remember.
Mario Kart?
Well, because there's like 13 million, and I want to say it was almost one in every 10.
I thought that was... Yeah, I think you were right. It's one of those. No, that was Splatoon was one in every 10.
Was it?
Yeah. Either way, they sold great for the consoles that were out for the Wii U.
Nintendo sold over 280,000 Switch units in April, making it the second consecutive month that the Switch has been the top-selling console. Apparently, in its first 28 days, Nintendo has sold 906,000 units in North America alone.
Of
the Switch.
Of the Switch? Wow, that's almost a million.
Combining April sales of Switch and Nintendo's ever-growing family of 3DS systems, 3DS sold over 68,000 units. Nintendo's hardware made over half of all video game console sales in the past month.
Wow.
So
good for you, Nintendo.
So yeah, the Switch is taking off like wildfire,
and that's great for us because I'm a Nintendo fanboy, so that means that now those games that we've been wondering, are they really going to make these good? Now it's going to be like, all right, we've got a couple million consoles first year. We got to put out a Metroid game. We got to put out a good Star Fox game.
Rumor has it, and I just heard this today. Now, of course, if you're listening to this has been a week ago, but so as of Thursday, whatever the date is it Thursday the 18th, Call of Duty World War II is coming to the Switch. That's the rumor. And that Activision has a company who is developing the title for the Switch. And this company developed all the other Nintendo versions of Call of Duty.
Right.
So probably the ones for like the Wii and the Wii U. Now, comes the question, is it going to be dumbed down a little bit? Probably.
Not much.
Maybe, probably not. Maybe, probably not much. But think about it like this. What you're going to get is a portable Call of Duty game where you can link up and play multiplayer anywhere you have Wi-Fi.
So it'd be just like the old days when you would get a Halo party going on.
Well, almost. But then, like, if you're hanging out at Starbucks, you might be able to play Call of Duty online there.
That's crazy.
If so if that happens, that is awesome, because what does that mean? That means Activision sees enough in Nintendo right now, because Wii U didn't sell at all, and their titles didn't really sell on Wii U.
This is with drop. They're doing it with the drop of the World War II, correct? It's not going to be later.
That's the rumor.
The rumor is with it. So if they're dropping it, that means that they are really seeing the potential in sales.
Because part of me
definitely
wonders if this isn't going to be like a stagnated release where everyone else is going to get it first, and then maybe at the beginning of the year, January, February, they're like, okay, a couple more months of development. Here it is on the Switch.
That's what I figured.
Because this is okay. If I'm Activision, I'm thinking about this. As of right now, most gamers in North America have either a PS4 or an Xbox One.
Right.
The Switch is not going to be taking people away from those consoles.
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But you have to think that most people are probably buying a Switch on top of the main console they already own.
Yes.
So you're probably going to be having people who buy Call of Duty on their main console.
Right.
And then probably buy it on the Switch if they're going to be using the portability of it as a selling point. Therefore, I mean, I don't know, dude. I can see them waiting and saying, you know what, let's just let them buy it twice.
Yeah.
You know? But then again,
their sales have.
But then again, it also makes Nintendo look better if you put it out right on the same day as all the other ones, and it runs good, and it's not half-assed.
It's still pretty hard to find a Switch console.
Yes, I have not even seen one in our area. I keep looking. Not that I'm ready to buy one yet, but I just want to know.
I have seen on some of the Buy Trade and Craigslist has one guy selling it for a good price with Zelda, not anything special, just a normal Zelda, $300.
That's a good deal. I mean, it's
a console with the game. He said he couldn't afford it, so.
Right on. Yeah, that's all the news I really have. I didn't. Splatoon. Okay, so they had a Nintendo Direct this week. It's all about ARMS.
Yes.
I don't really care about that game, but at the very
it's
end,
a neat game.
Yeah, it's neat, but I'm never gonna buy it.
Yeah.
But apparently at the end they had a little thing for Splatoon 2's single player mode.
Yes.
So that was really the only other thing. I'm like, hey, they actually have one.
Some of the modes on that look really fun. Actually, Splatoon 2 looks like something that I will definitely be picking up. I like the first one, but I never picked it up because $60 for a maybe, and it was all online.
I was looking at used Wii U games today when I was waiting around for you to get off work, and man, it's just some of the prices on that stuff are just not going down the way that you'd want them to go down. I want to say that some of the main party games at our disc replay are still $42.
Yep.
And then I want to get Monster Hunter 3 for it, and that's $16.
That's not terrible.
Not terrible,
but
damn it.
Yeah.
As someone who likes to be a cheap ass collector when I can be,
I think all of us collectors like to be cheap ass collectors. My purchase here in front of me is not a cheap purchase.
Mine is.
Yeah, you did good. I really was when you text me. I was looking at it, and she was like, "You need to pick another game, more games." And I'm like, "This looks cool."
All right, so we're gonna go right into my pickups. I only have two. These two over here, and I wanted this. Our disc replay had this Final Fantasy VII, 8, and 9 collector's box hardcover strategy guides. Now I had 7 and 8 growing up for the guides. I never had 9, and honestly, the strategy guide for 9 is one of the reasons why I bought this.
Right.
Because the one of old, it had a lot of stuff not in the guide because they wanted you to go onto the website and look at it. 7 and 9, both of those early on, ended up the covers got ripped off of them, pages got ripped out. I loaned them out when I probably shouldn't have and let other people use it. But I wanted this, and this was brand new on Amazon.
100.
It's 100 and was it 40?
Hold I will tell you right now, since I am currently on Amazon, searching for.
Just type in Final Fantasy.
I got it.
Collector guide or something like that. 9 guide. Just type in guide. Like if you type in 789, it'll come up. Nope.
I did it on. Hold on.
I think I Googled it.
I think I did too. I've got it up on my.
Seven. Oh wait. Here it is. Wait, no, never mind. That's GameFAQs. I was looking up reviews on it just to see, and because these guides are kind of like the same as same guides as they were like back in the 90s.
Here it is.
Oh, there it is.
114
on Anime Poco.
Anyway,
whatever. Still over $100.
Here's the one I think you're talking about. 152.13.
That's for 10. That's for 10, 10, 2,
yeah,
and 12. Because because this is box set 1, 10, 10, 10, 10, 2, and 12. That's box set 2. So retail price for brand new USA, $129.99.
Yeah.
This is sealed still. Now, if you listened to Journey to Comics this week, I talked about whether or not like collectors should open their stuff and what's the mindset on it. Because Nate's a comic collector, and most of the time he doesn't really look at them. He gets them, puts them up, and then downloads the digital version.
Right.
Not always. For some of his DC stuff, he has to actually read it. But for like The Walking Dead, he might look through it a little bit and then put it up because he wants to, conserve the spine. But me and him came to an agreement. But as far as video games go, is that unless you have a method and way of purchasing another one,
right,
cheaply or whatever, you should probably open the damn thing because the only way that you can really enjoy them is to play them.
Unless it's amiibos. Unless they are amiibos.
Amiibos, or unless if I come across a sealed stadium events at a garage sale for 25 cents.
Yeah.
I'm still on that shit.
Yeah.
So, what, 112, 1,400, like whatever, online.
Yeah.
So they had this for $25.
Yes.
I have zero spending money. None. Absolutely none. Cannot spend a dime. And what did I say? I'm done retro collecting.
Yeah, what's that right there?
All right, so I took in some extra stuff to trade. I took in a PS3 controller. One that came with my system, I think. It's old, it was dusty, and I cleaned it off and brought it in. They gave me $15 for it.
Can't beat that.
I took in an extra copy of KOTOR. A couple other games. Got $30 store credit. Apparently, they do not take plug and plays. I took in my Sega Genesis 4 that's the plug and play one,
yeah,
with the cartridge thing. They wouldn't take it, even though this year I've seen one of those in there.
Right.
Whatever. And then I have a plug and play that is a Sonic the Hedgehog one that is shaped like a Genesis controller that has Sonic 1, 2, Spinball, and Dr. Robotnik's Bean Machine.
Yep.
Which I tried to look up online to see how much they go for, and it varied. Some people were selling it for high. Some people were like on eBay selling it for pennies.
Right.
So, whatever. Anyway, I had $30, and so I got the guides, and I got Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, the greatest hits version. I don't really care. $7 they had this for. So for both of these, I spent out of my pocket $3.28.
Can't beat that.
And everything that I took in was extra, just stuff that I didn't need. And honestly, they couldn't even take it all. They couldn't take my 2 plug and plays. And there was a few games they said we can't take these because we just have too many of them.
Yeah.
And so so Oddworld, I have the second one. Needed the first one. I want to say this probably came with the big PS1 lot that went in there that has a bunch of games.
Yes. The lot that I got majority of my PS1 games from here.
Yeah. So
next couple of days.
So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open this.
I want to smell it.
Now,
you have to let me smell it.
Okay. Here's number one. I'm going to open these because these are games that make up my childhood. Like I talked about before with MGS and KOTOR, the 90s.
Yep.
And, 9 was 2000. But, buddy, these got me into RPGs.
I'm not going to disagree with you at all.
The plastic's already ripped.
It's a little dirty on this here, but
I'll clean it.
clean it. I wanna.
But I'm gonna open this damn thing, and
Yeah.
I waited.
Easy. Don't hit the mic.
I waited a week for this.
I'm proud of you.
I went and got this last Saturday.
Get it. Oh, it's so nice and white.
Got this little. Oh yeah, pre-order now. What was it? It's 10 HD
Yep.
remaster, 10 HD remaster, and 12. Which they should have waited because they're redoing the 12 HD remaster coming out
When was this?
last year.
2015,
15.
2013, 2015.
Wait, hold on. That's when they re-released the 10. 15 is when they re-released 10 and 10 2. Because look at that down there. That for 12 that is 2006. But for the guides,
Oh no, these are all just originals.
yeah, you don't have any actual.
Let me see the.
I want to say this came out last year, and then 10, 10 2, and 12 came out this January. But they have a magnet. They have a couple magnets in here that keep it shut.
I just wave at her randomly. God, those are so nice.
So,
Is this a poster?
no.
I was about ready to say.
No, it's not a poster. These are lithographs.
Oh yes, sir.
So we get a lithograph for each game. Of course, that's 7, 8,
That's a good one.
and then 9.
BB.
So yeah, that's it, dude. Like this is for collectors.
Yes.
Like this is not for any other market. Square released this just for collectors. That right over there, and then of course we have the FF7 guide. You know, and then this is gonna be just the. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to open.
Can't see it. Oh yeah.
And of course,
Character listings.
not yet. These are like this is the game basics.
Well, no.
And then this is where the characters start. And I can tell you right now, the overall layout's different.
Yes.
This is not the way that I remember it. I mean, it's sort of the same, but it definitely looks a little different. But then
It looks like these pictures have been enhanced.
maybe a little bit.
Like they don't look like the old style.
And you know what? Oh, yeah. Here.
Bookmark.
We have a ribbon bookmark in here.
I love it.
So, I mean, this is this is some pretty high class stuff, and it's not like I'm gonna be sitting there opening these all the time. But I just really thought my 7 and 8 guides were they were destroyed. So I really felt like I needed to get them back, and what better way to get them back but in a
Collectors.
in a collector's type style of set. And
You gonna pull each one of them out?
oh yeah, got to. And what's cool is that this is gonna spawn my topic where I just brought all the guides that I currently have because I'm gonna talk about how I got guides and then which ones I had, which of course I told you I had 7 and 8, but then like for me it wasn't always about like using them for every little thing.
My least favorite.
8,
Yeah.
buddy, 8 has a charm to it that
I don't like drawing.
drawing sucks. Drawing is the one bad thing about it. But I just throw on some music, I slip away, and then once I'm good, you can pretty much go in and just enjoy the game. Well, the thing about this is that all of the monsters and bosses scale with you. Look at this boss right here.
Yeah.
His lowest hit points that he will be at is 400.
The highest.
He'll be is 11,600. So no matter like where you are level wise, he's gonna scale to you.
Yep.
So therefore, you can purposely go through this game and not really do shit.
Yeah, you can blaze through it, and you could, they're still gonna be as difficult as normal.
Yeah, which I mean, to some people like it, some people don't. For me, I feel like the story of this game is pretty pretty good. Not the best out of the Final Fantasies, but I do like it. Some of the characters have a charm, like, to them, and I actually do like the GF system. Especially when you get down into the junctioning magic, junctioning stuff, your stats. That's really
good.
cool.
I like that, but I just didn't like the drawing. I mean, literally to do anything, you had to sit and draw and draw and draw and draw. But as you say later on in the game, it becomes easier because you have the ability to draw from an area. You don't have to fight. You don't have to grind.
You won't have to do that as much, especially if you level up right and you get Diablos Encounter None.
Yeah.
And then go out to the island closest to heaven or hell, and just walk around. You'll be good.
Yeah. I never made it that far.
The game is great. Now the one that I really wanted, the FF9, because I never owned it. And so, from what I understand, this is the one that they've added the most to, because they went and added the bosses back in. Because apparently, almost none of the boss fights were even in this damn thing. And so
it's a great game. This is fantastic.
No, 9 is fantastic.
Jeez.
I do agree with you and think that 8 out of the 3 on the PS3, 8 is like the least of my favorite.
Right.
But I still think I think all 3 are really great games.
7 has that first time. It's like popping your cherry on, a real. Smell. It's so new. Wait. It smells so clean.
I don't know. It smells like a hotel room.
Yes. But 7 is like the one that pops your cherry for me. Like that was my introduction into hardcore JRPG. And 9, as we've stated before on this podcast, we believe 9 is a full better game. But it will never replace that first time.
Yeah, no. 7 has the nostalgia for me more than 9. Honestly, I think in almost every term that you can say, 9's a better game than 7.
9 did it right.
9 is just a absolute. Damn it! I'm stupid ribbon.
Just put it in there.
I'm trying.
Wrong way.
You're right. I'm leaving 8 out for a reason because I brought all the guides that I own. Now you gave me this one for Christmas on this podcast.
I know, and it was such a good deal. I couldn't say no.
And I mean, I haven't opened it because I don't have the same sort of for feeling for this. And you know what? Someday I probably will, because I'm not all about like this has to stay sealed. I don't care.
Right.
I think it's awesome that you got it for me, and I just think like, you know what? The completionist in me wants to get one in lightning returns, and that's not good.
Sorry.
I'm putting those down there.
Watch the kitties.
Oh, you better watch out.
All
right, so then I bought. This one was covered on the podcast. I bought this one on my trip up north. Crisis Core FF7. Why did I buy it? Because it was $4. Do I need it? Not really. However, the good thing about it is that I never mastered this game. I never beat the super optional boss.
Crisis Core or
in Crisis Core.
Okay.
I believe I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it, but the super optional. I want to say her name was Minerva. It was down there where you fought Genesis.
So is it in the pod room?
It was down in the near inside the planet, where you go down into and fight, and then you end up fighting Genesis down there.
Right, you go down and then you go through the pods, and then it brings you to.
Okay, so here's the end here, I think. And then so this is the mission, guys. I don't think I'm able to find it, but I never beat the super optional for this.
Okay.
I never mastered it.
I can't remember if you had to be on the mission to do it. I think. I can't remember.
FF8, the original.
Okay.
I said earlier that I lost this guide, and it got ripped up. Well, I found it when I started collecting, and I found it at a Goodwill for $1.
Yeah, you can't argue that.
No, and I was just thrilled to have it back. But yeah,
I would have bought it for $1.
Yeah. So, does it look different? I don't know.
Let's find out.
Page 65. Like watching this one, 65 is not even the same page.
Probably not.
No.
It's not.
What? Yeah, it is.
It is.
It is.
There it is. I mean, they've changed around some of the dynamic. Like this.
I think the
guy,
wording is exactly the same.
Wedge and Biggs isn't different, but yeah, you might be right.
Yeah.
This is different. No.
It's the same pictures.
Same picture, same everything. Retrieving the weapon.
Yeah, just the layout's different.
Huh. There you go.
So that's why people are like, these aren't really good because these aren't, like, why even bother with this when you could just have the old ones? Because the old ones are not easy to find anymore.
Right.
You know? I mean, what a do.
What a do.
What a do. I'm going to put this back up before I cause any damage. I'm getting it. Get my lithograph. You can actually seal this. I don't know why you would, but you can actually seal it. All right.
Never. Never. Never will you be licked.
Thud. So these other ones here, I'm trying to remember who gave me this. I want to say it was Christina. She found it.
Could be.
And because some of these were given to me, like the Super Mario 64. It's a pretty rough shape, but it's cool because I have the boxed, copy of it. Tomb Raider 3. This one was given to me by Ray.
Ray.
When he gave me a little PlayStation, little trolley.
Speaking of that, somebody has one in perfect condition.
One of those trolleys?
With a trolley. It's set up with all the actual pieces that are to it because
Oh, yeah?
it has standing cartridge spots. God, look at that. I know.
That's an actual model.
Yeah.
I'm enamored with how they tried to sexualize Laura, and that the graphics aren't even that good.
Right. She still has triangle boobs.
Well, no, not in this one. I don't think she had triangle boobs in this one. I think triangle boobs was only the first one.
Did she have a little better? That's a real actress.
Yeah, it's a pretty piss poor picture though.
Yeah.
I had Tomb Raider 1 guide. All right, so I'm just gonna talk about this. What got me into guides? Okay. When my dad bought me PlayStation games from his buddy at work, he got me He got me SimCity 2000, Soviet Strike, Jet Moto, some sports games, Andretti Racing, NCAA football in '98, Triple Play baseball in '98, and then he brought home the trifecta of games. He brought me Tomb Raider, Twisted Metal 2, Final Fantasy VII, and each one of those had a guide with it.
Changed your life forever.
And yeah, it did. And then, all right, so the first game that I ever rented for the PlayStation was Resident Evil 2.
Right.
Scared the shit out of me at the time. I wasn't ready.
Right.
But I loved it at the same time.
Hell yeah.
So then I wanted it for Christmas, but it was a little too late to ask for it. So I had to try and hope that I got enough money for Christmas to buy it, and I didn't. I only got $20. But I could buy Resident Evil 1 Director's Cut for $20. So I bought it. And that's how I fell in love with that one.
Right.
Resident Evil 1, original bad voice acting and all, is probably my default favorite just because of how bad the voice acting is.
Wow.
So my dad brought home a guide that had a bunch of games in it. Need for Speed 2 was in there, a couple other games, but he pointed at the cover and said Resident Evil on it. Right. And it was a walkthrough for Resident Evil, which I'm like, this is awesome. Because Resident Evil, when you're a kid, can be a little confusing with the puzzle solving. With where's this key? Where's that key?
RE2 is definitely confusing if you're a
All
kid.
the damn plugs you gotta find.
Yes.
But anyway, so and in the back of it was a sneak peek at FF7, which was in development at the time for the PlayStation, and the reason why they were covering it is because development had just switched over from the 64.
Right.
So this was the first picture. And they said that the pictures seen were the pictures that they had running for the PlayStation. These are the first pictures that they had released. Right. And literally, it was a couple of monsters, from the first level.
Right.
But that was it. Dragon Quest 8. I got this when I got the game. This is my original guide. I sold the game and kept this. But I recently got the game back, and when I went to go buy the game, the dude is like, "Hey, do you want to buy the guide? It's I probably paid $18," and I went, yeah, why not?
Why not?
Because at 2005, by the time this came out, I had my own job, and I was just I didn't care. I wasted my money a lot.
We all did.
Then the last three, most recently, have been featured. They're my Mass Effect guides. 1, 2, and 3. 1 was gifted to me by Nate, co-host of Journey to Comics. Got me this. I got the poster for this hanging up in the game room. This was hanging up in my bedroom for a long time. He got me this in the art book for free. Didn't even need it. I'd already beat the game by then. But I just thought it was cool. And I also like that up at the corner it says Xbox 360 because at the time it was published by Microsoft Studios.
Yep.
So
it's awesome.
At the time it was exclusive. And then I bought 3 next, which I got when we started playing multiplayer. And when the one reason why I bought it is that it's because it had all the
weapons in it.
Like all the weapon bars and everything. But then they ended up changing it.
Yeah, and they changed it and it didn't have exactly what we wanted.
But $25 that I paid for this.
It's a big guide though.
It is a big guide, and
a lot of it, I'm sure it says, if you played 1 or 2, you will get this.
They do have
if you made these choices in 1 and 2, you could have this.
It will stop you and it runs you through probably all the different variations that mission can happen based on your decisions. And the last one I got was 2. I got this on a game hunt. I want to say you were there, but then you left early. This is the one that Nick and Jason went with me on.
The second big haul.
It was a second year.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up finding this at they who shall not be named, the store that we don't like. Found it there, tried to get some monies off. She said no.
God, that woman. If she would lower her prices, she would be able to negotiate a little bit more.
Well, she's not the most expensive in town. But
she
like,
is or isn't? I have to use the restroom. Surprise.
Small bladder.
Wow. Gonna move my table on me.
It's my table.
I know. But yeah,
I go low.
you're still in the picture. It doesn't matter. Just walk in front of the damn camera next time. But as far as guides go, like for me, like I don't really have the room to like massively collect them. But the thing is that I think guides can definitely be an add-on for the game. You know, I mean, it's almost kind of like enough love and care can go into them, especially if they're a good guide and have enough artwork that they can definitely be an add-on to something that you've already spend your hard-earned money on. The problem, of course, is that they can be expensive. Put this back on the table. That way the kitty doesn't get it. No kitty. Mike always has to use the bathroom.
Yes, I do.
I like how he's quietly trying to go to the bathroom. The cat's coming in to help you.
He always does.
Watch the claws. But yeah, if you guys are watching, and you can comment on whatever, or tweet, you can tweet at us at Game Addicts Play. If you like collecting guides, because like honestly, our store definitely has some guides, but like the store up north, they have a crap ton of guides.
Yeah.
And it's like, would I buy one for every single game that I own? No. But
jeez, you wouldn't have room.
No,
you wouldn't have room in here.
I do want to buy the Mass Effect Andromeda guide for completionist's sake, because I got the other ones. I do want to get the second box set of this, but I'm not like gonna go spend that much money on it.
Yeah.
So if I see it around and it's
well, if you get that $25 deal, it's coming.
Yeah,
it's coming home.
It's coming home with me. But yeah, you know what? I think I would like to get like the Metal Gears. I think that'd be kind of cool.
That'd be cool.
I used to have. I remember my mom and dad would sometimes bring me home the most random crap. So like I didn't even own this game, but they bought it and like, do you have this? This is on sale. It was a guide for Code Veronica on the Dreamcast. Because they know that I played Resident Evil.
Right.
And I had 1 and I had 2. And I don't know if I owned 3 at the time. I might have just rented 3. But I'm like, well, this would be cool when I can play the game.
Right.
And I honestly, I don't know what happened to it. I don't know if I just dumped it and said, I don't care about this or not. What are you doing, kitty? Get out of that bag. There's nothing in there for you. But anyway, yeah, that's my segment. And you said you were never got into guides at all?
I never really got into them. The only times I got it is when I bought like the PlayStation magazine, and it had RE2 in it, and I didn't own RE2. And then by the time I owned RE2, actually, I was recently, I never actually owned it. So until recently, but yeah, I just never really got into the guides. I'm an online guy. I do the online guides.
Trust me, when I'm trying to figure stuff out now, that's where I go instantly.
Yeah.
And as I was saying, I don't typically sit there and read these verbatim. Thank you, sir. But I think these are like, depending on like the quality of such, I think they can be a cool little add-on to the game. Where like you can say, I got this game and I got this awesome piece of art to go along with it. You know,
yes,
like a lot of love was put into this. Like that's kind of how I feel about these.
Right.
You know, I don't need to use these guides at all.
No,
I don't need to. I know the games too well.
That's kind of so. When I was talking to Joanne about buying that, I was kind of like sitting there going, "Oh, this is so cool to have this collecting piece." And it was right. It was before you had texted me like, "Do they still have it?" Because I want it. And I was just looking at it. I was reading. I was thinking about it. I was like, you know, I don't need this because 7, I'll close my eyes and walk through 7.
Yeah.
And then 8, I never really was a fan of 8. And 9, I know about everything for 9 too. So it's like, I don't need it.
Most of what they have in there probably already know about.
Yeah.
The only thing that I don't remember is where all the damn Stelazio coins are.
Oh yeah.
Those little coins that are hidden around that you got to find to get like the secret ending or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember where all those are, but you know what? Now I can look them up pretty easily. I don't have to get online. I looked at maybe getting a guide for Personas.
That would be neat.
Especially 4 and 5, maybe.
Their artwork is amazing.
Yes.
So those would be one of those art pieces that you would just be like, this is phenomenal. Because I believe that a lot of those come with a poster inside of them. Now, I'm not going to guarantee that.
Well, when I looked online and saw that these came with like the lithographs, that was an even bonus. I'm like, I want those.
The one of Vivi's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I love that one.
And then you got like basically the cover for FF7.
Yeah, the FF7 cover, and then the one with
Squall
with the flaming
gunblade.
Yeah, that's cool.
Now you have more gaming pickups than I do.
Yes. So we were out and about at the replay discs, and I've been doing good. I've been getting a lot of stuff I've been looking for. And I looked, me and my wife were doing a date night, and she was like, you know, I don't want to do anything. Well, you go look at some stuff, and we'll go to this replay. Well, all right. I'm not going to say no to this replay.
I wish my wife would tell me that.
And we went in there, and she got a lot of horror movies. She collects horror movies. We have a lot. And so I found...
It's amazing for someone who's like can be so jumpy.
Yes.
That she's into them.
So I found... first... I found which is a game that's going to spawn
your topic.
My topic. It's Legend of Dragoon. That's the first thing I saw.
We bring that up here because a podcast or two ago, you were bitching about how you had not found that yet.
Right, and here's what I'm okay with, and I knew that there was a reason why. This spine, when you open this up, obviously the game is in my PS3 right now. It has hardly any wear. Hardly any. The discs are no scratches on the top. We expect scratches on the bottom, but I got them buffed there at our local disc replay because they're awesome like that. Every time you buy a game, they buff it, if they can. And
I would get that guide.
Yeah, I would. I probably will eventually.
If you could track it down.
If I can track it down. But all these discs have no scratches on them at all. Mm-hmm. This was a collector's piece because it's not damaged. The case is not damaged in any way. It has some scratches on it, but if you've ever owned a jewel case, you know.
And I remember you once telling me that you were looking to try and get that on Black Label.
Yes. I don't really care.
Now, but now watch. Now that you own it, you'll see it everywhere.
If there is a black label,
You're
I'm
gonna
buying it. Oh yeah, this is one of the best RPGs in my mind. I was going to bring my Devil Playground book that I get every month, so I can keep my power up points.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it has, best RPGs of all time from 1 to 100 in it. I'll show you that afterwards.
Do you know IGN just did a countdown too?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to compare. I was going to compare, but anywho. So, set this aside.
Yep.
So she got a bunch of stuff, and she was like, hey, you need to buy stuff. And I've been kind of like on the fence.
I like that. You need to buy stuff.
Because,
okay.
Yeah.
She's really putting a gun to my head here.
She doesn't like it when she's the only one that goes in there and purchases stuff because she knows I'm a collector. And a lot of times I want to hold off because I would want that, but I really want a better copy of it. So like we saw this a lot, and a lot of them were really rough. And I walked away from one because it looked like it had been submerged in water.
And then you went for a long time without seeing it at all, right?
At all, yeah. So I'm glad that I waited. It's in as perfect condition as it can be. So I started grabbing games. So I saw the Far Cry 2, Far Cry 3, Far Cry 3, Blood Dragon. 3 games in one. I mean, as you stated before, people are saying that Far Cry 3 was the pinnacle of that.
This is an awesome thing to get.
It's the only way that you can get, as you stated before when you purchased it, it's the only way to get Blood Dragon.
I'm worried now.
Why?
It's a code.
You haven't done yours?
I have it on 360. It comes on a disc on the 360.
Uh-oh.
So, it's in there, but did they unlock it?
That'd be something I try out later on.
Yeah, because, I mean...
I haven't got around to testing that one.
Because Blood Dragon's amazing. It's awesome. I played it when I bought it, and I remember playing. I played through some Far Cry 2. Far Cry 3, playing through that was pretty cool.
It's a great game.
But then Blood Dragon is one I really wanted, and I wanted to have it on a physical copy. And
I'm a little upset that that's not it's digital.
I hope that whoever bought it just didn't like it and didn't redeem it, and that's why it's still in there.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, and it's not their fault, but I feel like they should have said, "Hey, I can't guarantee that this code works."
Right.
Usually, they're pretty good about that.
So some other ones here. Medieval 2.
I have the first one, and they're made by Sony.
Yes.
Which, I mean, Legend. We should say Legend of Dragoon is made by Sony as well.
Yes.
As an answer to FF7, but Medieval, that dude became like a little bit of like a mascot, like a BC level mascot.
Right.
And dude, I played the first one on a demo, and I was pretty psyched when I got it again and I put it in, and I'm like, wow, this isn't as good as I remember.
It does not age well. But it's still a good game. It is pretty collectible. This was $20. So was one.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah.
That's not what I paid for one.
But then I got these. Well, let's skip this. I got Blood Rain 2. I plan on owning the first one also.
OG Xbox.
OG Xbox. Complete manual. To be honest, I didn't really care what system I owned it on, but this was in the best.
Did you play them back in the day?
Yes.
So I assume you played it on Xbox.
Yeah, since I didn't have a PS2. So it was in the best condition. So these were probably my best decisions made.
Mm-hmm.
This was like she was pressuring me to hurry up because when I hunt, it takes me a long time.
Same. It can take me a while.
Uncharted. Nathan Drake Collection, and A Thief's End.
And it's like, what, about $30 for both of them?
$30 for both of them. So
can't beat that, man. 4 games for $30.
Steal.
I played through Uncharted 4, and then when I played through the entire collection and then 4 again.
Right.
And I did that all back to back. And what I will say is that Uncharted 1 still feels Uncharted 1-ish.
Right.
Still like, hey, this is the first time. This is the first one, guys. We're still trying to figure this stuff out. But then you get into 2 and then 3. And then by the time you get to 4, it's like... I will tell you this. You need to start with 1 and play through it.
Oh, I will.
Because, like, I think you can play 4 and enjoy it. But when you... Because 1, 2, and 3... I don't want to say they're not, like, story heavy. Or, like, get dark and heavy. With the characters. But they're more fun.
Right.
They're more, like... almost National Treasure. Like, humor, fun. Mix that with some Indiana Jones and Tomb Raider. And it's an action movie. It's an action, like, you know, pretty much you're playing an action movie, doing over-the-top crazy stuff that he somehow survives from and then laughs that he survives from it.
Right.
That's what gets me. That's what I like about Nathan. He's like, I can't believe I'm doing this. He's always saying that as he's doing stuff. He's like, and then he's laughing as he's like, he somehow survived again. Like, oh my God, what am I thinking?
Yeah.
But then when you get to 4 and you've been with these same characters through 3 games, and now the guys... Because the guys that did The Last of Us, I want to say they did Uncharted 2, correct me if I'm wrong. But then when they come in and do 4, they bring in a lot of that story, character heaviness that they did in, like, The Last of Us. They bring it to Uncharted.
Right.
And it just, like, you start, now after 3 games, you feel for these characters. And it's like, oh, God, this is amazing. I can't wait to see this end. Anyway.
So, with spawning... my rant, our rant. I'm going to say this is our rant.
Now, is it a rant or is it just a topic?
It is a topic / rant. Because we will rant a little bit. We always do. Especially on this. So, I'm all for games being remade.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I think companies are going in the wrong direction. Now, they're looking for the quick buck.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do last gen. To fill in the gap of in between the new games.
Which, I mean, if you notice, like, some of the remakes they've slowed down.
They have.
But then again, it's like almost most of the big franchises have been either have a game and they're remade and remastered, or they've just done the whole series. Like, they just did the BioShock series, the first 2 Arkhams. There's one that only had 1. The Gears of War 1 remaster only did 1.
Right.
But I just remember I saw that this year there will be no Halo 3 remaster for the anniversary edition. They're not doing that. Probably because they're focusing all efforts on Halo 6.
Right.
But
so, for me, there's certain games I believe that need to be remade, need to be retold. You know, Legend of Dragoon is one of those. I started this as I'm testing games. I tested about 6 until I got to this one. This was my last PlayStation test. I'm still testing it. 2.5 hours in. I plan on testing it.
Double slash!
Nope, I'm up to Volcano.
Volcano!
Volcano! I'll talk a little bit about this. I believe that this game... Now, people will say that this stole the flair from 7 because 7 was huge in America. And this is Sony's answer, you know, but they took something that was already great and I believe that they made it better. So I really like the action attacks because it's not just I'm just going to attack. You have to. Plus, they added in counters. So as you do your flurry of attacks, a red symbol will come up, and you have to avoid it, basically. And one thing that I just recently remembered, apparently I didn't know this when I played before, because I don't remember it. When you block, you regen. I forgot that. I was blowing through healing potions, and I was like, man, I remember why I didn't really complete this game. And then I, for some reason, guarded when I had 2 people. I was like, oh yeah, that's right, I forgot about that. But This is a game that I believe I don't need you to make it open world. I don't need that. I would like to just see this game told now. Clean. Voice acting.
I'm down.
I just, don't. Just clean it up. Give us some voice acting.
So what you're trying to say is that, you want to try and spawn a topic of what old games
Yes.
do we want to see remade?
Which ones deserve to be remade? Basically, it's...
Well, we're already getting 2 of them so I'm not going to count those. We're already getting 7. We're already getting Resident Evil 2.
And we're getting Crash.
Oh, well, yes, and that comes out I think next month.
Next month.
So if you're gonna go,
It's just the topic is what would you want?
it's hard to just stay with to not stay with RPGs, because I mean we're RPG guys.
Yeah.
And so like of course I'm gonna say Chrono Trigger.
Yes.
Of course I'm gonna say Chrono Trigger. But then again, it's like, to what extent do I want them to remake it? Do I want them to make it full 3D thing? No, because part of the art style of that game is the Akira Toriyama
Yes.
Dragon Quest. So maybe if you can make it look like the modern day Dragon Quest games, sure. But then you have to be careful with that game, and not as with any game, because then there are certain games that have a certain look. Like another game that I think definitely deserves to be remade is Super Mario RPG.
Yes.
And,
yes.
but then that game has a certain art style to it. So
I mean, I would like to see it remade just for the fact of being remade, but I don't want them to change much.
no,
Just
no.
smooth it out. Just say, hey, here you go, guys. Nintendo Switch, you get this, $30. We cleaned it up. It's it's 1080p. Just put it in 1080p and be done with it. Don't do anything else. Put it in 1080p.
If they could make the the virtual console games run in 1080p. Oh man,
We'd be in trouble.
games I want to see remade.
Well, 1-on-1. You won, me one.
All right, you go.
I already did.
Oh, well, okay. Because I'm not going to say the other 2 that I just said, because I just threw 2 out there.
It is hard to stick away from those RPGs.
Man, because I might have a couple, but then I'm looking at a complete remake in modern style, in a series that was always average at best, that I think could benefit from having a newer style of game, especially with the void in that genre now. Siphon Filter.
Siphon Filter?
Because
that would be a good one.
with Metal Gear 5 essentially almost killing that series, and you have the other one, Splinter Cell.
Cell.
Where's that at?
That just kind of
Siphon Filter is a Sony-run platform stealth game where you can totally just reboot it entirely, 100%. All those other ones don't even exist anymore. Let's start it over with just Siphon Filter and make the most badass stealth action game that we can make. Let's take what we've learned from Uncharted, and let's put as far as the action shooters, put that into an awesome stealth game.
Yes.
And then try to make a great story. And honestly, you don't even have to have the same exact story. You can just use that as a basis, and go around that with you can have Gabe Logan. You got to have Gabe Logan, and you got to have Leon Zing. But from there, you don't have to follow the same path trajectory at all. You can just kind of do your own thing with it. I think that is a property that used to have name value because they did have a couple of really good entries. And as far as they were never fantastic or masterpieces. They were always just fun games to play. And the story wasn't necessarily the greatest story, but they weren't at the same time overly horrible. I just said this the other day. I always giggled every single time that Gabe failed, and he would just say "damn it" because he'd have 8 different ways that he said "damn it."
Yeah.
So I would fail just to hear him say "damn it."
Damn it.
Damn it.
Damn it.
Damn it.
Damn.
Of course, we had Metal Gear 1. Metal Gear Solid 1 was remade for the GameCube. I'm kind of thinking that the early 2 Metal Gear games the ones for the MSX over in Japan, which I could be wrong, but I think that's where Konami's going to go. Don't they have like some sort of weird Metal Gear game coming out soon that's based off of 5? It's like a co-op group thing.
Yeah.
What was that piece of crap called?
I don't know.
If Konami says we are remaking the original Metal Gear from the ground up, we bringing back David Hayter to play Solid Snake.
Yeah.
That would be hard for me to say no, especially if they try to do it, where they're not going to totally blow it away, but as a sequel to Metal Gear Solid 5, because that's where the story goes.
I feel like I need to go over and grab my games.
Oh, games that you want remade?
I'm going to. I'm going to. Just because I'm looking over there and I'm like, I know you're there.
Is God of War like a reboot? Like the new one that's supposed to be coming out?
It's supposed to be a reboot, I believe. Well, no, I thought it was him training his child. You'll have to repeat what I'm saying.
Okay, so Mike thinks that it's him training his kid. So is that technically God of War 4?
I'd assume so, yes.
But they're just calling it God of War.
Right.
And then they try to do a reboot of Devil May Cry. They did a reboot of Tomb Raider, so that's already been done. Because I was trying to think of some, because you can always look back and go, man, they need to do like a new cool Mega Man. But then again, Mega Man doesn't necessarily sell, It's like he does the old school collectors, and they're already trying to do like some sort of a remake / revival with Sonic. That was some news. While you're doing that I could talk about. Sega is looking at reviving old IPs.
Yes, that is right.
Did you read that?
Yes.
They're looking at so they're going to be going forward with some of their big top selling titles like Persona. They're going to continue with the Persona. They're going to do more Personas. Of course, Sega owns Atlas, and that's why I'm bundling that in there with them. Of course, they do Yakuza, and they're doing stuff with the Sonic brand. I don't know, where is it?
I don't know. I know that it was here.
Do you know what it's called?
I don't want to tell you.
You don't know.
I do.
That's why you don't know.
No.
You know what game that got remade that was really cool, but they only released it digitally? Turtles in Time.
Yes.
I actually have that on my PS3 because if you have it downloaded, you can still play it. But if I delete it, there's no way that I'll be able to re-download it. But yeah, Turtles in Time, that was really cool. So it's really hard. Do you know what?
There it is. I knew I had it.
Uh-oh, what is it?
You go see. I got quite a bit.
You got quite a bit?
Yeah.
Why didn't you write these down first?
Because I'm always on. All right.
Okay, you're back.
I'm back. I was playing on it last night, but then I got into playing. The other one is actually over there, and I should get back up and get it, but I'm not going to. Okay, so mine. I have a few here. One of them is Wild 9. So I love that game. And I was playing it last night, and I was like, man, this is so much fun.
That's a sleeper hit, man. That's
a sleeper hit.
For the PlayStation. Not a lot of people know about Wild 9. That was made by the Earthworm Jim guys. Which, hey, that would be a fun one to remake.
Earthworm?
The first Earthworm Jim?
That would be cool.
Do like how they're doing with Crash?
Yeah.
Make it like a big, cool, keep the graphic style the same, but make it HD.
It'd be cool.
And then do the same style of gameplay where he's like taking his body, like his worm head out and just whipping people with it.
Yes. So the next one is, and we have games very similar to this.
Yeah.
Driver 2. But the Driver series had a lot more missions, I believe.
They were oriented towards chases and
and I really like the chases in it. I feel like the one thing that I want to do in any of the Grand Theft Autos is I just want to go and get 5 stars and see how long I live.
Well, okay, so the cool thing about Driver, and that's what it spawned into its own little series,
it did.
is that the chase missions were almost like you were playing an action movie.
Yes.
Where they would have certain things set up like obstacles, like this big semi or big truck going by, a big bus, and then like you had to go around it, or you had to do like you had to take
Everything was in a
turns.
time. So,
Yeah.
So you could get there however you wanted to, but there were certain routes you had to take.
But then they went to another level with Stuntman, where you
Yes.
were a stuntman on a movie set, and you had to hit those.
Yep.
Exact.
On point. Yep. But, and then the next one. This is, I believe this, I want to say this is a sleeper hit to me.
I thought it was a big hit for the time, for the late 90s.
Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver.
Soul
One.
Reaver, yeah, Soul Reaver 1. See, Soul Reaver, it was a big.
I'm playing through. I started to.
It was a pretty big title for the time.
It was Tomb Raider, but darker.
In a way, well, like especially with like the platforming.
Yeah.
I just kind of feel like the series fizzled out, and then that's possible that could make a comeback, but
I've always thought that this deserved a reboot, like a full grand scale reboot. Start with the way that they didn't. And let's see if I can formulate this in my head. With Blood Omen, it was a top down, top where you were Cain, and you basically the story of this is Cain becomes a vampire, and he learns about how time. He learns that he can travel through time. That's in the second. In the second one, how he can travel through time and see things and alter history.
Now isn't Raziel?
He is a priest. That
He's a vampire who is killed, and he feeds on the souls of vampires.
Right.
Right.
He was a seraphim. I believe a seraph. I believe he was a seraph. And the seraph were the keepers of time.
Mm-hmm.
And he died, and then he resurrected him to do his bidding, and he turned on him. It's a great game. I love it.
Streets of Rage.
Yes. Okay, and I want to put this out as any genre. Okay, and you will feel me on this. What the hell happened to our battle game, our car battle games, Twisted Metals? They went for a while. They had a good run, and then, really, where'd they all go?
Twisted Metal flopped on the PS3.
Yes,
but it wasn't.
but that style of game has kind of just fizzled and
It has
died.
And the reason why Twisted Metal flopped on the PS3 is because it wasn't the Twisted Metal that most people wanted. I remember at work, Aaron, he's always trying to find new games to play.
Right.
For cheap, and he ended up picking up Twisted Metal. He got it for like $10. He's like, "You should get it. We should play." And I want to say that Smoochie ended up playing with him. I like how I'm just throwing names out there, and the people who are listening have no idea. The guys that we work with. That was creepy. Hey, at least this week we have no massive like thumps on the house.
No, I just have a cat over here scratching the box.
Is he scratching the box?
She was, and then her ear, she's flipping her.
Man, other games that need to be remade. Because there's certain series that like I'm glad that they've finally like given up on.
Yes.
Like I really, you know what? I liked playing through like some of the Prince of Persias when they came out on the PS2. Thought they were fun. But
the first few are great.
I just got kind of tired of them, and they just kind of like, to me, they kind of like overdid it.
Yes. Yes. Dark Cloud.
Dark Cloud, yeah.
That would be a great game. That was a open world. I mean, that was an open world.
Was that open world?
Yeah.
Both of them?
Like the very first thing you do in Dark Cloud, like when you get out, is rebuild your city.
Yeah, you rebuild.
Yeah, but you can walk straight out like you're walking on the ground and just keep walking to each zone.
Oh, man. I'm trying to think of, like, old entries, like, from, like, the old NES and, like, you know, Genesis era and SNES. Because you can easily just say, well, fine, FF6. Okay. Because we've had so many releases of FF4. I'm not going to say FF4, and we had a JS remake of that. FF6, so we're getting 7. I honestly, I think FF6 needs to get done too. But I would much rather have that on portable.
Yes.
Is as much as
Vita
well, yeah, they're not gonna put it on
or
that.
Switch.
Switch, yeah, I'd be all for
Put
Switch.
it on the
release
Switch, because then we can do it on the TV and on the go.
Yeah, no, we gotta go. Okay, let's go.
And I would put that down. That would be bad. If they start putting those games on that,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be hurting. I'm gonna be hurting. There's a lot to choose from.
Well,
but you want to choose the cream of the crop.
But then so many have already been done, you know?
Right?
Because it's like, you know, as I said, Tomb Raider, they're gonna be working on hopefully the third entry
Right.
of
Hopefully
that, and I mean, like the 1 and 2 of those are great.
they are.
You need to get 2.
I need to get 2.
Part of me wants to get 2 again on the PS4. I don't need it, but I want it. Oh, shit, I had one. And then I lost it.
Thank you. Going. There's a lot of old games I'd like to.
After they do Crash Bandicoot, Crash Team Racing.
Yes.
You know who should make the next car combat game? People that made Rocket League.
Oh yeah.
Just arcade as shit.
See, but what I'd like to see is Rocket League make new Twisted Metal. And see, you could still have kind of the Rocket League like where you could have soccer matches,
Yeah.
but you would pick up power-ups and blow the crap out of everybody. That would be fun. I would love that.
I got addicted to Rocket League.
Rocket League's a
For me.
very fun game.
I had one.
Think of some Game Boy games.
Game Boy games.
Think of some Game Boy games.
Some Game Boy games.
Legend of Gaia. Or Illusion of Gaia is one.
Illusion of Gaia.
That's on Super.
That's on Super.
Secret of Mana.
Well, yeah, Secret of Mana. That's on Super as well. See, I was thinking that how cool would it be?
It's on Game Boy.
Secret of Mana? No, it's not. Secret of Mana is on Super Nintendo.
Which mana am I thinking about for the...
Sword of Mana is
Sword of
on
Mana, that's it.
GBA.
GBA, that's one I picked up recently.
Man. Yeah, man, there's a lot of games that are like either like because they're doing a new Sonic, they're doing Sonic Mania, right?
And that's not really a news, but it is what we're talking about. Basically, taking 1, 2, 3.
It's like a retro style Sonic,
but they're adding.
and so it's not like a modern day remake of Sonic, but it's like a retro modern day remake of Sonic.
I mean, it's 1, 2, and 3,
Yeah.
and they're gonna add a little bit to it. I know they added the drop dash. That was
Sonic
specific.
Mania has like whole new levels, and they're gonna have like maybe a few levels from like the older ones,
and
like
you're
remastered.
able to play through all of them with Tails, Knuckles.
Tails and Knuckles.
So
That's cool.
that's cool. But that was my topic. It's a thinker. I have had a little bit of time to think.
Snake Eater.
Snake Eater. You really want to see that remade?
Yes, 100% remade, and like all you got to do is take MGS5's engine, put it on there, and Snake Eater. Okay, so they remade MGS1 right on the GameCube,
Right.
And there were pluses and negatives about that remake, but I feel like MGS1 and 3 are your all-time classics of that series. Not going to put anything down about 4, because personally I think 4 is a great entry, especially to end the series, even though they kept going.
Right.
4, it just has so many. 4 is fan service. If you love the series, 4 is absolute fan service. It gives you so many different moments, going back to Shadow of Moses, giving you the whole the France, Paris, like film noir, like where he's walking around like a trench coat and you're walking around with like young Snake's face, you know. But if you take the MGS5 engine and put it on 3, and then you retell that story of 3.
I can see that.
I'll be there day 1.
I can see that. That would be a good one.
Oh, KOTOR.
I was waiting for that. I've been saving that for you.
KOTOR. Take the engine of Dragon Age Inquisition, put it on the KOTOR. Because not only...
Oh, you'd sell millions of copies.
Oh, well, okay. Because not only would the game look better, but then the overall gameplay is improved. Because it's still, at its core, the same kind of gameplay.
Yes.
Where you still have your 3 partners, along with your player character, and you're sitting there swinging your lightsabers or whatever you're doing, shooting your guns. But then you can have your ranged guys, and you can have your powers and force users, and then instead of just clicking attack and doing different attack modes, your base attack could be just hold the R2 button, and then you can do some power attack, your flurry attack, and all that kind of stuff.
So I don't want this one remade. I want a new entry. I want a Fable 4.
Wow, is the Fable didn't they have a Fable multiplayer series they were working on and then they can't? Xbox has been canceling a lot of stuff lately.
Yeah, I'd really love to see a Fable 4 because the Fable series is great.
Did you hear about what Xbox is going to be doing going forward? Is that they're not doing virtual reality; they're doing augmented reality.
No, I didn't.
Okay, so part of this. The that Microsoft
Oculus Rift.
No, not Oculus. The one that you went crazy for, but where it was stuff would appear on the table. Remember that? Yeah, you went crazy over it.
It was the Oculus Rift that I went crazy over.
No. Oculus Rift is just another VR unit.
Oh, you're talking about...
It's the Microsoft...
it's...
I can't remember what it's called.
Damn it, I know the name of it.
But HoloLens.
HoloLens, that's it. Oh, yeah. I've been still looking for a way to get my hands on one of
what
those.
they're going to try and do, from what I understand, is that they're going to try and integrate HoloLens into console gaming to where you're sitting back with your controller, and then you're seeing stuff outside of the game appear around you that will, whether or not that's going to be your HUD. Can you imagine, sitting there playing your game, and over here on the side of your TV is that's instead of it being a big virtual reality, you have your life bar over here, So it's your HUD is away from the action on your TV. Your HUD is actually your HUD. Your HUD is
it's here.
It's here, but it kind of looks like it's surrounding your actual TV. So it's
that would be totally plausible, but with the HoloLens, the whole thing behind it is the fact that you need nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. So you could just say, hey, that would be one of the extreme cases where I would not be mad if games went streaming for that specific thing, because they have the Holo television, Holovision, and that would basically, it's like YouTube, and you just pop it on, and you could either make it a small icon where you'd move around and you would always have it up, or you would do some hand gestures, and what it would do is I'd have my blank wall that we're looking at over there. I could just click it there, and then I would look over here, and I'd come back, and it was still there.
Yeah.
It was just like having a TV that you didn't have. But also the price tag on those were unbelievable. That's why I kind of backed off, because $5,000 is a little too much for me to just have something to play with that's in development.
Right. Yeah. We E3 this year is going to be interesting to see what gets brought to the table. I have no doubt that we're going to be seeing stuff. Microsoft is supposed to be launching Scorpio this year, so I think we're going to be seeing what is coming out in the fall.
A lot of heavy.
I
Microsoft.
I think they're going to come out, and they're going to come out swinging. Sony, they sort of at the very end of PlayStation Experience last year said, "Oh, by the way, we have one more thing," and they showed The Last of Us, where they really didn't have to. They could have saved that for this E3. So it's going to be interesting. I think
they didn't even really started on it. Really, really started on it.
I think they've been working. By the point that they showed that, they were wrapping up Uncharted,
right,
support, and of course we have the Uncharted 4 DLC, which is actually going to be, from what I'm understanding, like the Infamous DLC, entirely available on its side.
Right.
So if you never even owned Uncharted 4, you can still buy this on the store and play it, because it's going to be its own 10 to 16 hour experience, from what I'm understanding. So it's almost like its own game.
Right.
But it's just using the existing Uncharted 4 engine. And from understanding that, okay, so you don't know this because you haven't played them. The main character in Uncharted 4 DLC is a character who's introduced, I want to say, in Uncharted 2, and she's in 3. She wasn't at all in 4, except for in, like, a letter.
Okay.
She wrote a letter, and she wanted Nate to go on another adventure, and he's like, no way. And then he kind of gets dragged into his own adventure. So this is, like, kind of what she's doing. Maybe that might be her little adventure that you see. But then there is a character in the DLC that's also in 4 that was a brand new character.
Huh.
So I'm still going to play it because, I mean, it's another story in the universe of Uncharted. So we're probably going to see another trailer for that from PlayStation.
Hopefully.
We're probably going to see more from God of War.
Yeah.
Especially if they're that far in development with it.
The way that it looked in the first one. I mean, I've not been a God of War fan. Like, I did like Chains of Olympus, but as we've talked about before, it's very repetitive.
They're all kind of the same. Yeah.
Same. But this one looked different.
Yeah.
And it still had the timing button mash.
Yeah, the QuickTime.
The QuickTime. I love those. That's why I like it.
It's still over the top, but it's almost like the series has finally evolved into something else.
Right.
Whereas, okay, and you know what? I kind of understand it. That 1, 2, and 3 have like the same style of game, but then you had Chains, then you have Ghost of Sparta, then you had Ascension, then you have 6 games that all play the same.
Exactly.
It's like if you're sitting there trying to play through all of them, no.
It's like Prince of Persia.
Yes. Same reason why I said before. It just gets old after a while.
Like Sands of Time, I believe, is the pinnacle of that series.
That was the first one when they brought it back, wasn't it?
Yeah. And that was great. And then after that, stop, please.
They did a trilogy in there, and I felt like all 3 of those were pretty damn good.
I thought that the Sands of Time was the last one.
No, Sands of Time was the first one.
1, 2, 3.
One of them was called The Warrior Within, I think. And then I can't remember all the other ones. I remember Sands of Time was the first one because I actually own that one. I've owned that one when I started collecting again.
Right.
But I don't have the other 2. And really for that, it's like I saw Prince of Persia and Sands of Time, like, oh yeah, and then the other 2, I'm like, man, I don't want to play. Man. But I was trying to think of another really cool like remake that can be done.
Depends.
Because I want to say I hit most. Because when you told me this at work, first thing I thought it was KOTOR, and then of course I forgot about it. Until like at the very last second.
Yeah. Mine are all. I mean, I pulled out some of my odd ones, but most of mine are. I can just go through the list of JRPGs and just start going.
Okay, come on. But then with that extent, you can almost just start saying all of them.
There are some. Jade Empire would be a really nice one to be redone.
Yeah, I mean, I know BioWare's busy, but
it would be neat.
And BioWare doesn't necessarily have to do it. I mean,
oh, another one, and you could do this from the beginning of the series to now. I guess. Elder Scrolls. Take Skyrim engine and just remake.
You know, I was trying not to sell that at all.
I can't help it. But no, seriously. Elder Scrolls. Take it from the beginning.
Oh, gosh.
Remake them all.
We'll see. Because when they did the Skyrim HD, right?
Yeah.
A part of me was hoping that they would do Oblivion first.
Yes.
And then even some other people, because I know Rob had said this, he goes, I don't want that. I want Morrowind.
Morrowind is a great one. It's a great entry.
He goes, Morrowind sucks to go back and try and play because it's not as that fun to play on the Xbox. He goes, it's
stiff.
It's older. He goes, I want to see that remade with the Skyrim engine. I'm like, I agree, 100%.
I think that they really should, because since they basically had somebody else do their HD remake of Skyrim, they just need to go through. The problem is that you have to tear down the base of each game. And put the
because they're
Skyrim
different engines. Because the Skyrim engine is different from Oblivion engine. Because, you know,
as long as you could smooth it out, smooth the controls out to where it's not as blocky, I feel like the Morrowind is kind of kind of stiff. And
Oh, it's very stiff.
it's just, and then Oblivion is still pretty stiff to me, but I don't think it has a good. It just doesn't flow right to me. And Skyrim did everything right. That was where everything comes together.
Fully voice acted.
Yes.
Hold on. Fully voice acted. Completely redone graphics. Not open world. Because I don't want open world.
That's very specific.
I'm seriously okay. One of the reasons why I didn't want to go back and play Zelda right away, like I did but I didn't, is because I played through Mass Effect and I went to that whole open world experience.
Yeah.
As like I'm getting tired of open world because I can do it, but then I can't turn around in the next game being open world.
Right.
Because all you do is you're just wandering around and doing crap, and it's like so going to Persona 5, which is not open world. You have areas.
Right.
You know, this is the most open Persona game, but at its core, it's still very like the dungeons are very like, hey, let's go through this dungeon. Hey, let's give you some more areas to explore in the real world. Mm-hmm. You're not exploring a big open vast world, so that's why I'm so sucked into it. So not open world, fully voice acted, completely redone graphics. Final Fantasy IX.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But see, here's the thing.
I tried to leave the Final Fantasies out of it.
Well, yes, I know. But, like, so they're completely redoing 7 in modern-day style. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be turn-based. It's going to be action-based. Whatever. Fine. Take it. Do whatever you want with it. Have 9 just be a classic turn-based RPG.
That's what I like to see Dragoon go to.
Right. Well, see, because 9, what 9 did was 9 was, like, almost like a best of the Final Fantasy series from leading up to that point.
Yes.
You know, they had a lot of things that they brought forward into 9, and so I would say to honor what 9 is and it was for that first 1 through 9, keep it turn-based RPG.
Yes.
The only thing that I would add is that maybe later on, and see, I don't know, because the core of 9, you're splitting up so much, like your party.
Yeah.
So maybe I wouldn't, because I was gonna say maybe you can add the FF10 thing where you can switch out characters on the fly.
You're split up way too much.
But I think honestly, until the very end, you're split up too much. So why waste something until you're wait to do something that's cool until the very end?
I tell you what I'd like to see. I would like to see. It doesn't have to be Legend of Dragoon, but something similar to its cores. You know, the quick time. But I'd like to see it where it's still turn-based, but that's to have the option of quickly countering abilities. Like in that game, they can counter you, but you can't counter them.
Yeah. Well, if you so there's the little quick time stuff in there. For me, I remember that started with Mario RPG, where you had the button prompts,
right?
For the jumping effect,
and you can block if you do it at the right time,
right? Yes. And so, why not put that into there? You know, maybe if you block, you get a little bit of a regen too, instead of just guarding.
I would just think counters, not really block. But a lot of those sometimes make a game that's like this, but you're on the opposite side of that. Mm-hmm. So you know how those guys do the one hit on you, and then while you're attacking them in your flurry, then you can counter. Mm-hmm. That would be neat.
I'm down.
I would just like to see. I know there's one out there that's a digital only somebody released. It's turn-based RPG. I'll have to look. It was on the PlayStation. What was the PlayStation event?
PSX.
PSX. It was in there. I'll show it to you when we're done. You'll see it. It was.
It's been a while.
Take Final Fantasy VI, and make it kind of 3-dimensional, where you walking over it and you had a bridge, but the bridge was kind of like a pop-out book.
Yeah.
And then the battle system, Final Fantasy 9. And that's what it was.
Interesting. Well, I don't think I have any more.
I don't have any more.
If that's it, I think we are about done with today's episode. I think we've rambled enough.
I told you it's like a topic / ramble, because once you get into this,
you said rant.
Rant. I rant because I'm pissed. I want to see some of these. I understand that they're remaking games, but there's a lot of great games out there that people did not get to get their hands on. That now,
I think Sony needs to see that how well Persona 5 is doing, on their console, because the Persona 5 is done really well for them.
Yes.
To see that there's a market out there for them to do a reboot of Legend of Dragoon.
I would-
That there's a market out there for it.
I would love to see a reboot of this and then a continuation of it. Or maybe like how the Tales series does it and how Final Fantasy does it is same concept, different universe.
It's where you still have the Dragoon stuff, but
Right.
same with the Personas almost. Like not all the Persona games take place in the same universe. I think Persona 1 and 2 do, and maybe 3 and 4 do.
Right.
Then again, I don't know where 5 is in that. But I think that is definitely going to do it for today. I think all we have left is our plugs, those things that we do at the end that let you know where to
What are
find us.
those?
Well, because we're on all of the podcast services that I can think of. I mean, I don't think we're on Spotify, but I haven't messed with it.
Yeah, I haven't either.
As far as that's not how I consume my podcast. If you guys consume podcasts on there, let me know. I guess I'll try to get it on there. But we're on iTunes. We're on Google Play Music. So if you have a phone, you can get us right there. No matter what you have, you can get us.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, we're also on Podbean app. We're on Stitcher Radio. So you can download those two apps too and get us there. Or you can download the Podcast Addict app, which searches the iTunes engine, even if you use Android. So there you go, man. You got a win-win there. We're also on YouTube. You can watch us and sort of like with just a camera put up over there, and you can watch us open up stuff and just show that we actually, we're not lying. We own this stuff, and I opened up my guides. They're so cool.
Recommendations.
What? I didn't.
Right there.
Final Fantasy IX.
Legend of Dragoon.
I just talked about Final Fantasy IX. I'm gonna do that. Man, I keep forgetting to throw something completely different out, but it's just so easy to do.
JRPGs are just, that's our thing. It's so hard to not
Yeah.
say this one.
If you want to talk to us and check us out on social media, you can do it there. We're on Game Addicts Play on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I need to put up a video. I was putting up clips of us, and then I just kind of quit and I forgot. Because really what I need to do is when I'm making the video, I need to just take a 1 minute clip and just save that as a separate thing, because that's how I was doing it. But I've been forgetting. I don't know. But, again, you can check us out on all that stuff and hit us up and watch, listen, and enjoy, I guess. But I guess actually, you know what? This episode comes out Memorial Day weekend, so you guys have a safe and happy holiday.
Yes.
And all your glorious cooking out, making some nice barbecue.
And that's something hopefully we get to do.
I'll be doing it regardless.
I'm hoping to do it here.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that off of air
Yes.
to finalize that. But until the next time we talk to you, which I think... No, okay, E3 is going to be after that, so no. I can't remember. I think E3 is on the 14th. What was the day? It's not that early.
We need to start making a calendar.
Yeah, we'll do.
We need to make a calendar.
I think it's the 12th. So this episode will release. It release there on the 25th,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have
One more.
we have the first,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna have the 6th, and then the
E3.
wait. This is July. Wait,
What are you doing?
we have the 8th, and then the 15th. That'll be the E3 episode. So we have a few episodes before we have to do E3.
Yes.
Good, because I don't know how the hell we're gonna fit that in. Because I want to be able to do the E3 episode and not do that the week before, but do that right after E3.
Okay.
So that way we're all nice and fresh and newsy.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, until next week, I'm Brando,
And I am Mike.
and we'll see you then.